about being an entrepreneur. I am an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is a person that starts their own business because of a need or a service, whatever if there's a need or a service, or you may have a passion on the inside that you want to start a particular business. How many entrepreneurs do we have in the room? We have several entrepreneurs in the room. You all need to give yourself a round of applause because being an entrepreneur is not an easy business at all. It's not easy, and it's not for everybody. So we're going to move on. What I'm going to talk about is three things. I'm going to talk about achieving your dreams of becoming an entrepreneur versus working for an employer. I'm going to talk about planning ahead and having a strategy. And I'm going to talk about having plenty of support to avoid nightmares. But first of all, I have to tell you my story of how I became an entrepreneur. Back in the late 80s, I was working at a real estate company called Wesley Realty. And I was a secretary at that company. And I even remember receiving flowers for Secretary's Day. But that was their way of buttering me up because I never imagined I was going to work for so many babies. And the babies weren't little children, they were the adults. They were, Colette, can you do this? Colette, can you do that? And I understand that if you're a secretary, you're supposed to take care of the company, you're supposed to take care of the staff, but they were in baby overload. And so I really had to step up and take care of them. Then I went on to be the office manager. The office manager that hired me, she decided, well, I'm getting married and I'm leaving. And this was after a year that I started working there. But they didn't hire another person over me. They hired, well, I was it. I was going to be the person that continued taking care of the babies. I went on to be a person that went to auctions. There was the Wayne County tax auction. And I would go there and bid on properties. I bidded on 40 properties one time for the company. Bidded on them and won them. But it wasn't a good experience for the sellers. Not the sellers, but the homeowners. They lost those homes in taxes. But some of them did wind up renting those properties back from us. So that was the Wayne County, that was the tax sale, Wayne County tax sale. Then I moved on as property manager. For property manager, I managed properties for the people that lived around the country, but they had homes here in Michigan. And I also managed properties for the company that I was working for. Those people, they lost those homes in the foreclosure market. That foreclosure market happened in 2008, and it affected a lot of us. And so the properties went into foreclosure, but I had to start pricing out the houses for the banks. I had to work for Bank of America, Chase Bank, Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae, letting them know how much the houses were going to be priced for. Houses that were selling for $40,000 and $60,000 were now selling for $5,000, $8,000, and even less than that. Houses that sold for $200,000 and more in the city of Southfield sold for $40,000, so $25,000. I sold some of those properties to those particular owners, and they're sitting in those houses right now with all of that equity, but that was because of that foreclosure market. Then I moved on to the short sale market. There were so many people that was affected by the short sales. Their mortgages were more than the house was worth, so they couldn't sleep at night. And so I had to help them. I had to place their houses on market in order for them to afford a better place. They had to afford somewhere else to live. There were even some seniors that couldn't sleep at night, and they moved to senior homes, and so I had to help those individuals. Now we're back to a traditional market, and I was just talking to Michael where we have to fight in order to get a property for some of our buyers, because those homes have 20 offers on one home. So the market is kind of stable, as far as the prices. The prices are not all over the place like they were with the foreclosure market. And I say all of that to say all of those trends were helping me to learn that it helped me learn to be an entrepreneur. I help people that's my passion, is to help people. The art of the real estate deal was helping me to become an entrepreneur. I love helping people, and I also love to help them with the process through real estate. Whenever you help a person buy a house or sell their home, you're helping them through their comfort zone, because they have to move all of their things out of that property and move into another area that they're unfamiliar with. And I love to be with them and help them and hold their hand to let them know that it's gonna be all right. And that's my passion, and that's why I'm an entrepreneur. Back to my points, achieving your dreams of becoming an entrepreneur versus working for an employer. You can achieve your dreams to become an entrepreneur because that passion is inside of you. There was a little girl, she was 7 years old at the time. She went to the bank with her dad, and she wanted some candy because the bank will give away suckers. And she was like, "Dad, I want a sucker." And he was like, "No, it's gonna ruin your teeth." And so what the little girl did, she's 7 years old, she did 2 years of research to figure out what can I have so that I can eat candy on my teeth. And so she did 2 years of research, and she came up with Zollipops. This little girl is 13 years old now. Her suckers are in Walmart, Target. She's been on the local news. She's been on the national news. Her name is Elena Matthews, I think it is. But her parents now work for her. And she still, she says she still has to be a kid and everything, but for the most part, she's a millionaire. So that passion is inside of you. If you are working for an employer, whatever happens with that particular company can happen to you as well. Whatever happened with that particular company. There was a lady that I know, she's one of my best friends. Her company was merging with another company, and so they had all of them to come to Texas. And when they flew to Texas, they took away their cell phones, and they took away their company badges, and they sent them back home without a job. So a lot of times, if you're with an employer, that can affect you. Being an entrepreneur isn't for everyone, but whatever issue that goes on with that company, it could be a nightmare. There's a quote by Oscar Wilde that says, "They say dreams can come true, but they forgot to mention that nightmares are dreams too." So whatever goes on with a company can affect you. Right now, we're going to do an exercise, and I need 2 volunteers for that exercise. Maybe 2 people I want you to come up, and you to come up. And I want you to tell me something that you are passionate about. You can have a seat for a moment because you come up first. What's your name?
Alpha.
Alpha? Mm-hmm. Okay, come up, Alpha. Come on up. This is Alpha, everybody. Give her a round of applause. Okay, Alpha's going to tell me something that she's passionate about, and what we're all going to do, we're going to brainstorm and help Alpha turn her dream into a business. Okay, Alpha, what are you passionate about? What do you love to do? On just anything that you love to do. It could be a hobby, and we're going to turn this into a business today. All right. Just like the little girl with the sucker. Well,
hold on.
Yeah, it's going to come to you.
Oh, this is embarrassing.
No.
Cats.
You love cats? And I'm terrified of cats. I'm terrified. I can't hardly listen or hear about cats. But guess what? Today, we're going to talk about cats. And I'm just not going to think about them. But like I said, you guys are going to help them make turn her love for cats.
The next time you come, I'm going to bring one for you.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay, come on. Let's talk about cats. Let's help Elena. No, what's your name?
Alpha.
Alpha.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Talk about cats and how she can turn her love of cats into a business.
Cat sitting.
Grooming.
Definitely.
Oh, I've done grooming.
Okay.
Painful.
You say you cat sitting?
Go on vacation.
Okay, on vacations, that's a good.
Okay.
Think about that, cat sitting. You did the grooming, so you can groom the cats while you're sitting, while they're with you. You can groom them if they need it. Okay, understand? Cat walking. Yeah.
That's
Cat
very,
accessories. Cat rescue. Rescue.
Cat rescue.
Well, most people do cat rescue out of basically not so much as, it's a passion, but they also,
But-
it's more, it's not so much as not for profit.
Okay, but Alfred, you have to go with it.
Okay.
More
These
items.
are great ideas. You have to go with it.
Stationery with cats on it.
Cat clothing.
Station, yep.
Yeah.
Oh, right there. Stations, shirts with cats. People love cats. I don't love them, but other people love them. I have to work on me, so I accept that and I need that. Okay, I need that. And thank you so much. Thank you. Yes. Come on up. What's your name? Your name is Christian. Okay, Christian, we're about to help you turn your business into, no, we're gonna help you turn your idea into a business. So what do you love to do? What are you passionate about? Because we're gonna turn you into a millionaire. Come on. Homeless people, okay, family and friends. Come on, everybody. Come on, entrepreneurs.
A senior runner, somebody to, run errands for seniors. You can start a messaging service and make sure you're checking on, the community, things like that.
Helping around their house,
Yeah, helping around the house,
transportation for them.
transportation.
Yeah.
Or like senior or like lawn care, shoveling the snow.
Senior outings. He said homeless.
Oh, he said homeless.
How's he gonna help homeless people?
Oh, homeless people. Outings.
Soup kitchens.
I used to produce a podcast.
Okay.
And I had a gentleman from Orlando, Florida, fly up here to Detroit to be on the podcast. And he had something that he called Homeless Voices Plus You. And what he did, anybody who had a cell phone, he would compile footage. And just basically listen, like let's say you were homeless and didn't have a place to go,
Okay.
everybody has a story. So he would
Yes.
allow them to tell their story, and then he compiled all the footage and put that into like a short documentary. And trying to get people's, basically raise awareness about homeless and maybe raise some funds for them.
Yes, yes, yes.
I don't know if you come here often. I have for Luther's Job Club, so probably about 6 times. Before the event, before any event you go to, put a little blurb, ask Luther if you can put a little blurb. If you had put a little blurb before today and said, everybody here bring a pair of gloves, bring a scarf, bring a hat, bring a blanket, bring 1 canned good, this whole room would have had a carload of stuff for you to take home to homeless people, probably before you even drove home. You could have dropped it off somewhere, to a church or somewhere. So people need to remember, before you go to an event, it could be a church event, a school event, a gym event, if you just put the word out to a couple people, hey, can you bring a canned good when you come? Can you bring, a box of cereal before you come? People want to help.
That's right. Well, on social media.
So if
And
you're
they
gonna
will
come to
offer-
Jobs Club again, have Luther put the word out that Christian is gonna take collections for anybody who can bring one little item.
That's
And I'll
right.
bet you everybody in the room would bring something.
That's right. And my suggestion is, make sure you get a T-shirt because you have to be a walking billboard for yourself. You have to be a walking billboard. You have to be a walking billboard for yourself to make sure that everybody knows what you're doing. Make sure that everybody knows, because you can't be a secret. Because if you're a secret, then the people that you want to help will not get the help that you need. And thank you so much.
So I have a question too, a question for him.
Okay, go ahead with your question.
So, on the TV and the media, there's the company that does the socks, and their big thing is the number one thing that's asked for in homeless shelters is socks. Well, here's a question for you to research. What's the number 2 thing? Because if they can do it with the number 1 thing with socks, you can do it with the number 2 thing, which might be that. You can figure out a way to do that.
I know that,
Can I also add, we are talking about entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
What I know that you have a passion for what you like,
Yes.
turn it into a business of corporate support young people like that.
Yeah.
Who would have a bracelet or something, and he will be transparent and ethical about saying a portion of this will go toward whatever his goal is, but a portion of it is also, he's got to grow as an entrepreneur. They right now have an ocean cleaning, and it's a huge industry. And they actually doing it all over the world now.
Yeah.
And this is the opportunity to just learn about helping people, but also building a business and also helping the homelessness grow out of being homeless.
Yes.
So he has a great opportunity to, I understand, it's not just if it's nonprofit or it's a business to grow, that he have opportunity to help those.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, yes, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. My comment is, one of the things that I've been noticing lately is I've been surrounding myself with a lot of people who are nonprofit oriented. And sometimes we think that we're a nonprofit, so we're helping other people, but we can't forget that a nonprofit can also be a business where you're making money.
Yes.
So you making money at this is going to give you the time and the freedom to go and be a nonprofit organization, but your time is valuable as well.
Yeah.
And I feel like I would support something like that financially so that you could do that more often.
Absolutely.
Yes, that is awesome, awesome. Great ideas. You are well on your way. And I don't know your age, but you are young enough to be that millionaire, like the little girl that created Suckers, that Dolly Pops. Yeah, so you are well on your way. Fantastic, everybody. Give yourself a round. Okay, on to my next point, planning ahead and having a strategy. You have to plan ahead and you have to have a strategy. Because when you plan ahead, you have to know more about whatever your business is, whatever your passion is, more than anybody else. Because if somebody else come up to you and they can talk to you more about your particular service, then they are the experts, not you. And also, another thing you don't want to do, you don't want to start a real estate business, not a real estate business, I love real estate, that's all I talk about. But you don't want to start a passion, and then all of a sudden, you're overwhelmed because there are so many people that want your particular service and you're not ready yet. So you have to be ready. So plan ahead, have a strategy on what you want to do. Be around like-minded people because everybody don't want to support your dream of becoming an entrepreneur. They want you to sit in a cubicle next to them from 9 to 5 and that's it. So they don't want you to be an entrepreneur. So please plan ahead, have a strategy. And my final point is having plenty of support to avoid nightmares. When you have plenty of support, then you will have someone around you that's going to walk you through certain areas because in order to be an entrepreneur, you have to have the drive, you have to have the ambition, you have to be motivated, self-motivated when you are an entrepreneur. You have to be self-motivated. Like Luther said earlier, I started with the Southeast Michigan Entrepreneur Association in 2012. I was a member, I was an ambassador, and I was on the board of the Southeast Michigan Entrepreneur Association. Now that organization has grown to be the National Entrepreneurs Association, and I am on the board. Because of the connections, because of the information, because of the mastermind groups that we have, I started virtual real estate services in June of 2015. That year, I had $600,000 in sales. It wasn't for the whole year, that half year, $600,000 in sales. The next year, I had $2 million in sales. And the following year, it increased after that. I have 10 agents on my team at this time. And so we are still a growing company. Yes. And National Entrepreneurs, I'm trying to pop because I am just so excited. So excited about virtual real estate services. So excited. Okay. Because of all of the connections and everything, because of all of my connections, I am virtual real estate services. Okay. I say all of that to say, make sure that you get connected with an entrepreneur, some type of association that's going to help you grow your business, that's going to help you support your business, help you to support whatever it is that you're doing. Because you have, like I said, you have to be around like-minded people. Because if you don't, then things can fall apart for you. And another thing, another passion of mine is Toastmasters. Join Toastmasters. It can help with public speaking. It can help with confidence. It can help with leadership skills. I've been a Toastmaster since maybe 5 years now. And I was the shyest person in Michigan. but I'm no longer the shyest person in Michigan. I can stand up and walk before you and not even feel anything. But it's just so exciting to be up here around each and every one of you. And I am Colette Hughes. I am an entrepreneur, and I want to know if you all have any questions for me at this time.
I do.
Yes.
What is Toastmasters?
Toastmasters is an organization. They are worldwide. Around the country is probably 300,000 clubs or something like that worldwide. In Michigan, okay, there's, let me see, 118 clubs in Michigan, Ontario, and Toledo. And it's just an organization that helps with your leadership skills, help with public speaking skills, and also help with personal development. So I use Toastmasters as personal development because, like I said, I used to be the shyest person in Michigan. I could never get in front of you to say anything. I didn't even want to go to a networking event because I didn't want any eyes on me. I didn't want any type of, any focus at all. But right now, I can stand here with my suit and tie and speak to you about being an entrepreneur and speak to you about real estate because I love all of it.
Thank you.
Yeah, any other questions? Yes.
Two questions, actually.
Yes.
If you were that shy, how did you ever start selling real estate?
Well, I could speak with people one-on-one.
Okay.
I was at that company that I was with. I was working behind the scenes with them for 20 years. And so it was a lot of other real estate agents and everything. And so I mostly dealt with people one-on-one. But then I started to have to go to networking events so that I can grow my company. Once I got with the Southeast Michigan Entrepreneurs Association, I had to go to networking events and I had to stand up and introduce myself. And guess what? I got sick and I wouldn't go to some of the meetings. But then I'm like, okay, I have to learn about, I have to figure out this thing. Then I heard about Toastmasters, and it has really changed my life because it gives me the freedom to speak to anyone and anybody at any point in time.
Okay.
Yes.
Sorry if I missed this, but what is virtual real estate service?
Virtual Real Estate Services is my company that I started in June of 2015. When I started Virtual Real Estate Services, my husband had lost his sight in September of that year. And so Virtual Real Estate Services, I've been in real estate since the early 80s, so like over 30 years. And Virtual Real Estate Company is my own brokerage. And I have 10 other realtors on my team, so we can sell houses, commercial properties, or property management, or whatever that you need. Because I learned all this information from all the babies that I was taking care of at that other company for 20 years.
So it's like online?
It's not, well, I use the online process. So let me tell you a little bit about that. I use any of the technology that's available, resources for virtual real estate services. Like I mentioned that my husband had lost his sight in September of 2015. I was at Beaumont Hospital doing contracts for people that were out of the country. They were like in London. And I was selling them 13 properties. They didn't know where I was, and I was doing all of their contracts right there in his hospital room. My husband's right there, Richard, and he lost his sight in one eye. And so he's all right. He's all right. Now we're making it through it. But as an entrepreneur, I did not have to call in anywhere and say, well, you know what, I can't make it today. You know what, I can't make it tomorrow. I have my own time. I have my own freedom. And that's what being an entrepreneur is all about. It's having your own time and your own freedom. But it's not for everybody. Some people like to sit at the desk and eat their cheese sandwich and then not worry about any responsibilities and get their paycheck, direct deposit it, pay their bills, and do it all over again every day. So that's what some people like to do, but that's what virtual real estate services is. It's my own baby. Yes.
Has there ever been a time where you felt like giving up on like pursuing what you were doing?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's why you can feel like that. You can feel like that every day. But what you do, you get people that's like-minded around you. That's gonna motivate you. You have to read inspirational things. You have to watch and talk to Mr. Enthusiastic Chuck Dodd, and every morning when he's on Facebook Live and talking to people and inspiring them. And so you have to do things like that in order to keep yourself lifted up, because you'll feel like giving up every day, because you'll feel like, oh, I'm just in this by myself and I shouldn't do this, and maybe I should just go work for somebody else. Maybe I should just go work for another real estate company. No way. Don't do it. Just keep going. Keep powering through it. Keep powering through it. So yeah, you feel like giving up, but just keep going. Yeah.
How long from conception of the idea to start your own company did it take for you to go live with your own company?
You say, how long did it take?
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I was with the other company for 20 years, working behind the scenes with them.
Right.
And then I was with another real estate brokerage and letting them have all the shine and all the business, even though I was always the face of every company that I was with. I was always the face, but I was behind the scenes. Right now, I am the face of virtual real estate services. So it might take a while. You don't have to start like right away that same year, but you can start like, you're never too young, like the little girl that started with suckers, and you're never too old. Never too old. Yes.
Did you ever struggle with either self-doubt or, you know how when you first start something, and then a month later you're kind of, and if so, how did you cope and kind of, you know, get past those points?
Okay. As I said, I was with the other company for 20 years, but it was not only starting with that particular company, I was always behind the scenes in building somebody else's company all the time. So when it came time for me to take on my own business, I just went full
You
speed
kinda
ahead.
had it.
Yeah, and I kind of had a feel for it, an idea for it, and I keep myself involved with the Entrepreneur Association. After I leave here, I am running to a mastermind group where we're going to sit and we're going to brainstorm about our businesses. We have a hot seat where we sit there and talk about any issue that we have going on, and then we have all that energy. It's all about energy. Your energy go out in front of you before anything. You have all that energy goes out in front of you before anything else. And so we have great energy in that room. Whatever's going on with your business, we talk about it, we figure it out, and it just makes everything fantastic and prosperous. Yeah. Anyone else?